Hi, it's Friday night, April the 2nd, 2010. Yeah, well, a little bit of Saturday morning. It's about 3 a.m. or 2:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Anyway, some news broke today, Friday, and it's an old story, but it's now become, I think, a new story, and you need to know about it. You could make some money on it. What happened was a government agency has just declared that a large number of houses need to be gutted and redone. And I'll get into the details of that. It's really a big mess. And I just wanted to share it with you. Meanwhile, I want to raise what I call an existential question about all of this. And that concerns, well, it's something like, if a tree falls in the forest and there's nobody there, does it make a sound? But the real question is, can you have a home with negative value, kind of like a toxic cleanup site? In other words, let's say you bought it at $175,000 and you look up and it's all of a sudden worth a negative $25,000. How on earth could this happen? Well, let's get into the details. Now, here's the headline that started me down this course of thought, and as I say, there's probably a money-making opportunity in here. Homes with Chinese drywall must be gutted. Okay, you can pause that anywhere to read some of that, or just go out to Yahoo Finance. Anyway, that's what started it, and you can see I took this drywall, this Chinese drywall here, and the photo they had, and doctored it up so it looks radioactive. It isn't radioactive, but it might as well be for the effect that it's probably going to have. Now here's the deal. These homes have Chinese drywall that was shipped here from China, and the stuff stinks. It smells like rotten eggs, and that's hydrogen sulfide, and it's doing some bad things not only to people's health, causing a lot of health problems, but it's also doing damage to wiring, air conditioning, fire alarms, and switches, and all of that has to be gutted, stripped out, and replaced. The average cost, the estimates being floated, are about $100,000 per home. This federal agency has declared that this has to be done right away. Now, estimates of how many homes are affected seem to be all over the map. I'm going to stick with about 200,000 of them, and what that would mean is $20 billion. And that's not including, for the lawsuits, where damages are found for actual damages for health, and then possibly punitive damages. Somebody here is going to take a whooping. Now, I did say I was going to go with a figure of about 200,000 homes, but in fact, let's take a look at something here. The estimates being floated about by the usual experts is anywhere from 100,000 to 200,000 homes. However, there are 1.5 to 2 million new homes that get built every year, except during these past couple of years, the recession and all that. So, somewhere in there, 1.5 million, let's say. And, if you're a home builder and you can buy cheaper sheetrock from China versus more expensive sheetrock from someplace else, which are you going to buy? So I'm questioning this figure. And be that as it may, what about all the sheetrock that gets sold to, repair and remodel homes? I mean, remember, we were in a recession, housing was crashing, people were trying to sell their houses, and they were remodeling like mad fiends. There's a lot of that drywall out there, folks. It rots electrical wires, it rots air conditioning even faster, destroys the pipes. So I'd expect that those numbers are going to grow, not decline. Now there's a long-term and a short-term watch list that you're going to need to make money on this, and here's what you're going to be looking for. Short-term, Monday, that would be April 5th. You want to be watching home insurers, contractor insurers. You got to do some homework here. I can't do all your homework for you. I've been on this story the last 3 or 4 hours tonight, and I'm whipped. Contractor insurers, home builders, and U.S. treasuries, and places like Home Depot, Lowe's, Builders Square, etc. Because after all, they did sell a lot of this sheetrock to contractors and subcontractors. So they might be on the hook for some money. And the reason you want to watch treasuries, well, that'd be more long term. Let me stick with the short term. I used to run with this posse of real mean traders, and we'd sit around and hunt we'd all have a news feed, different news feeds, and we'd hunt for bankruptcies. And they still do some of that over at pincherplace.com. So we would lay around early in the morning watching the news, and all day really, and if somebody announced they went BK, we would jump over to it, watch the chart, and when the chart bottomed out, it would recover about 20% of what it had lost. This was almost consistent. Well, it was very consistent. So you want to be watching some of these folks here on this list for exactly that phenomenon, and you might get a good bounce out of it. More long term, looking at U.S. treasuries, here's a theory of mine. The Chinese have about $1 trillion in U.S. treasuries. In other words, we owe them $1 trillion plus. And what a neat way to kind of get off the hook on some of that by sticking them with a lot of this bill, which it would seem they righteously deserve to be stuck with. So the Chinese, to pay some of this, are going to cash in some of those treasuries and to pay it off, and that would mean probably, I would think, that treasury prices go down and interest rates on them go up. Post a note on that, somebody, would you please, and let me know what you think about that. I appreciate it. Everything else, either catch the bounce on Monday or get ready to short them longer term as more bad news hits them. So it does look like Guido and his boys have whipped up something for the market as promised. Alright, I guess you're going to do some more of that out there, Guido, coming soon. We're going to knock down the SPY a little harder. Okay, you folks stay with me. Stay tuned.